Pardon me, sir, but is your name Isaiah?
Yes, my child. And what can I do for you?
Are you a prophet?
Yes.
A prophet of God?
Yes.
How do you know?
How do I know?
Yes. How do you know you're a prophet? Did your father tell you? Or did the high priest tell you? Or did you just want to be a prophet?
No, I didn't want to be a prophet. But there was something special that happened, and I knew.
What happened?
Well, it's an old story, and not very interesting to you, I'm afraid.
Oh, tell me, please. I'd like to know. Please.
Well, for some time I'd been discouraged because so few people in either Judah or Israel had been serving God. They seemed to care only for wealth and power. Why, I remember I overheard my neighbors talking.
Do you realize, dear, that we are probably the richest people in Jerusalem?
Of course I do. And it's wonderful to be rich. The people in the marketplace, on the streets, even in the temple vie for my friendship. I love it.
And we're going to be even richer. Tomorrow I gain possession of another house. Ooh. The man is behind in his payments, and I'm going to take his house away from him.
What's going to happen to his wife and children?
Oh, that, my dear, is his worry, not mine. My only worry is how to get more houses and lands.
And what did happen to the poor man who couldn't pay?
Well, he lost his home. I suppose he had to move in with his children, if he had any. And then once I visited a court.
It was an accident, Your Honor. I didn't mean to kill this man's sheep. It ran out in front of my horse.
Accident or not, this court orders you to pay for the dead sheep.
I can't, Your Honor. I have no money.
You pay or spend 30 days in the dungeon.
But, Your Honor, this isn't pity or justice. The law of Moses says
I am
that
the judge in this court. Now, another word out of you, and I shall double your sentence.
Did he really have to go to the dungeon?
Well, I suppose so. Unless he was able to borrow enough money to pay for the sheep.
That wasn't right.
And even King Uzziah, who had been a good king for many years, became so proud that he thought himself worthy to go into the temple and offer incense on the altar.
Oh, I've heard about that. He was struck with leprosy right in the temple, wasn't he?
Yes. And it was about that time that I was impressed that I should warn the people to turn from their evil ways. But I was afraid that no one would listen to me.
And what happened?
Well, I was standing on the porch of the temple one day, feeling I simply could not be God's messenger, when suddenly the inner veil of the temple seemed to be lifted up, and I could see into the holiest place, where none but the high priest can enter. I seemed to see Jehovah sitting on his throne, with angels all about him, and I felt more unworthy than ever. I even cried out, "Woe is me, I am undone." Then I saw one of the highest angels, a seraph, pick up a living coal from the altar, and lay it upon my lips, and say,
"Lo, this hath touched thy lips, and thine iniquity is taken away, and thy sin purged."
Were you scared?
I was awed. Then I heard the voice of God saying, "Whom shall I send, and who will go for us?" And I answered, "Here am I. Send me."
And that's how you know you're a prophet?
That's how I know.
And now everybody listens to you and does what you say.
Oh, no, child. Only a very few. But because God assured me that a few would listen, I am content to give God's warnings and his messages to his people, and to leave the results to God.
Because of God's assurance of his help and blessing, Isaiah entered into the long and arduous mission of rebuking the people of their sins. Yet he stood before them as a prophet of hope. For 60 years he carried with him the memory of the vision at the temple, and he waxed bolder and bolder in his predictions of the future triumph of the church.
"Hear ye and give ear, ye people, for the mountains of the Lord's house shall be established, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it. Come, let us go to the house of the Lord, and he will teach us his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law, and the word of the Lord from